OCD is an anxiety disorder and OCPD is a personality disorder. OCD is characterized by excessive thoughts and excessive repetitive behaviors. Basically ये thoughts आपके कंप्लीट हो गए 9 मिनट आप लोग कर रहे थे सही अभी So now we are gonna start an activity. जैसे कि तंजीला ने हमें बताया effective communication. वॉलंटियरली जो भी आना चाहता आ जाए 3-4 बच्चे अलीना तुम्हारा काम चल रहा है
We all use words and languages every day to interact with people at work. But do we really communicate effectively? Effective communication can be broken down into three parts: listening, understanding, and responding. Let's look at these one by one. Listening involves hearing the words that are being said, taking in nonverbal cues such as facial expressions and body language, plus paying attention to voice modulation. Moving on to the next stage, understanding, or giving meaning to what we have heard.
Most of the communication breakdown happens at this stage because we often misunderstand and misinterpret what is being said. When we make error in interpretation, we are likely to respond incorrectly as well. For example, your boss asks about the task that is being assigned to you.
If you interpret that as boss blame you for not completing the task, you are likely to respond with anger. However, if you interpret that as your postponing to just know the stages of the task, you are likely to feel less angry and defensive.
How we interpret what we hear is affected by the thoughts that popped up in our minds when we are listening. At Way Forward, we help to catch these automatic thoughts so you can reduce communication errors and be more productive at work. Thank you.
Effective communication can be broken down into three parts: listening, understanding, and responding. Let's look at these one by one. Listening involves hearing the words that are being said, taking in nonverbal cues such as facial expressions and body language, plus paying attention to voice modulation. Moving on to the next stage, understanding, or giving meaning to what we have heard.
Most of the communication breakdown happens at this stage because we often misunderstand and misinterpret what is being said. When we make error in interpretation, we are likely to respond incorrectly as well. For example, your boss asks about the task that is being assigned to you.
If you interpret that as boss blame you for not completing the task, you are likely to respond with anger. However, if you interpret that as your postponing to just know the stages of the task, you are likely to feel less angry and defensive.
How we interpret what we hear is affected by the thoughts that popped up in our minds when we are listening. At Way Forward, we help to catch these automatic thoughts so you can reduce communication errors and be more productive at work. Thank you.
Here is something that must be going wrong with his or her.
OCD is a mental condition in which a person has unwanted, intrusive, and repetitive thoughts that become obsessions. These obsessions then make them do things that relieve them from these thoughts, a behavior known as a compulsion. This is why it's called obsessive compulsive disorder. OCD tends to develop most frequently in children 10 to 14 years of age, with symptoms that range across a wide spectrum. Some just have repetitive thoughts. Others experience extreme obsessions that make living a normal life difficult. For many, it comes and goes in waves. Symptoms of OCD are often grouped into 4 factors: symmetry, forbidden thoughts, cleaning, and hoarding. Some might experience other symptoms, and still others a mix of multiple factors. Miko, Anne, Jane, and Joe each have their own version of OCD. Miko is obsessed with symmetry and he can spend hours sorting books. And whenever he enters his library, he has to leave it the exact way that he came in, backward. Anne began having forbidden negative thoughts after she lost her mum. Ever since, she's constantly afraid that others around her might die, including herself. Her forbidden thoughts can strike at any time. Her heart starts pounding and a terrifying image crosses her mind. To make them go away, she starts biting her nails until they bleed. Jane is obsessed with cleanliness and gets anxious when things appear dirty. She washes her hands like 50 times a day, and when she's done, she washes the soap too, because in her world everything is covered in germs, especially the things she touches. Joe is constantly thinking about losing things, and to relieve his anxiety, he begins hoarding. When leaving his house, he checks the lock on the door again and again. Then, 5 minutes later, he starts wondering if he's closed the windows. And so he returns, thinking he was so obsessed about locking the door that he might have missed the windows. So how come that in a group of people, just some have OCD? People with OCD are often born with a genetic predisposition, with about 1 in 4 having an immediate family member with the disorder. At some point in life, environmental factors such as childhood trauma can initiate the onset of OCD or exacerbate its intensity. While the neurobiological origins are still being studied, brain areas regulating thought processing may be disrupted in minds with the disorder. As a result, the thoughts can't shift properly and instead get stuck, repeated, and lead to a loss of control. Someone who has to check if they lock the door over and over again has the thought, "Did I lock?" repeating endlessly without being resolved. While obsessions just seem to appear in one's head, compulsions are learned responses that help reduce the anxiety associated with intrusive thoughts. So if Jane experiences an ever-present fear of germs, she reduces her anxiety by washing her hands. Because this ritual temporarily offers relief, the probability that she will do it again is increased. Once the OCD cycle is established, obsessions lead to anxiety, which triggers the compulsion that brings the relief, and then it starts again. As a result, compulsive behavior not only persists, but actually becomes excessive, often with negative consequences, and makes living a normal life impossible. When you begin having OCD, you often aren't aware of it, and as a result, some of the terrible thoughts in your brain lead you to believe that you are a bad person. This is why it's important to seek professional help to understand and eventually quiet the brain. Treatment of OCD includes cognitive behavioral therapy to overcome intrusive thoughts by not indulging in any compulsions, rumination, focused exposure with response prevention that focuses on obsessions, medication, or nicknaming to relabel, reattribute, refocus, and revalue your thoughts. What about you? Have you ever experienced obsessive thoughts? And if so, what kind of compulsions did you turn to? Please share your insights and strategies for dealing with your mental monster in the comments below. If you found this helpful, check out our other videos and subscribe. If you want to support our work, join us on patreon.com/sprouts. For more information and additional content, visit sproutschools.com.
Have you ever wondered what lies beneath the surface of stress? If not, join us as we peel back the layers, uncover hidden truths, and embark on an unforgettable exploration into the depth of the topic stress. Stress is a natural response to challenges or demands. It can affect us physically, mentally, and emotionally. It's a feeling of pressure or tension that can come from various sources like work, school, or personal life. It can have a significant impact on our daily lives, can affect our mood, concentration, and productivity. So it's important to recognize the signs of stress and to prioritize self-care and also find healthy coping mechanisms. Stress can be both positive and negative. It's important to find a balance and manage stress effectively to enhance its positive aspects while minimizing its negative impact. Did you know that stress can actually affect our memory? Like when we are stressed, our brain releases hormones that can impair our ability to remember things. So, managing stress not only benefits our overall well being but also helps keep our memory sharp.
We cannot control unexpected changes around us, but what we can control is how we cope with and react to stress. Let's take a look at some strategies for dealing with it. When we are stressed, we lose sight of taking care of ourselves. It's important to find time in your schedule to relax or do what you enjoy. Losing yourself in a good book can reduce your levels of stress. Studies have shown that over time, exercise and meditation can help to reduce anxiety level and make you feel more energetic. A balanced diet can support a healthy immune system and it provides the extra energy to cope with stressful events. So try to eat healthy and balance your diet. Being social and spending time with your family and friends help you cope with stress. If you share your problems with them, they will either try to solve your problem or they will support you anyways. When taking stress starts to damage your mental and physical health, one should seek for professional help because therapists and counselors provide valuable support and coping strategies and they are always there for you. By eliminating certain stressors, you can make yourself relax, and there are many